Hey there, and welcome to The Explainer. You know, every single business, big or small, has this dangerous gap. It's the space between what you think your customers are looking for and what they actually need. Today, we're going to talk about how to build a bridge right across that gap. And the key? It's all about learning to listen to the voice of the customer.
In this right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the problem. Look, from inside your company, you've got this internal view, right? You're focused on your processes, your departments, hitting your numbers. But your customer? Oh, they're on a totally different journey. They have their own goals, their own problems they're trying to solve. It's kind of like you both think you're on the same road, but you're looking through opposite ends of a telescope. The pictures you're seeing are worlds apart.
So what happens when those two journeys just don't line up? What's the real cost here? I mean, it's more than just a little frustration. It's wasted time, wasted money, and at the end of the day, lost customers. This is a huge, fundamental challenge for any business, and it's one that needs a real solution.
Okay, so what is that solution? Well, it's a concept called the voice of the customer, or VOC for short. And really, it's just a structured way to stop guessing what your customers want and start knowing.
So let's break that down. What exactly is the voice of the customer? At its core, it's the whole process of capturing everything your customers are thinking and feeling, their needs, their expectations, what they really think about your product or service. It's all about making sure that when you're in that meeting making big decisions, the customer's voice is the loudest one in the room.
And why go to all this trouble? Because the payoff is absolutely huge. A solid VOC program helps you decide what products to even offer in the first place. It helps you pinpoint the features that people actually care about, so you can stop wasting time on the ones they don't. You'll know exactly where to focus your efforts to make things better. It gives you a baseline to see how you're doing, and maybe most important of all, it tells you why your customers are satisfied or not.
Now, when it comes to actually getting this feedback, there are really two ways you can go. You can be proactive, get ahead of the problems. Or you can be reactive and spend all your time putting out fires. Let's take a look at what that really means.
Honestly, most companies live in that reactive mode. They wait for something to go wrong. A bad review pops up, a customer complains, and then they scramble to fix it. It's like constantly looking in the rearview mirror. But the proactive approach, that's about looking forward. It's about actively going out and finding information so you can anticipate what your customers are going to need and stop problems before they even happen.
And I bet these reactive channels look pretty familiar, right? We're talking about customer comment cards, call centers, those contact us forms on your website. And look, they have their place, but they're all passive. You're just waiting for the customer to take the first step. And let's be real, that usually only happens when they're already upset about something. So the picture you get is totally skewed and incomplete.
Okay, so how do we flip the script and become more proactive? Well, you're going to need a couple of tools in your toolkit. Let's start with the first one, which is all about figuring out where things are breaking down in your service. This is called the GAPS model. And the big idea here is super simple. Customer dissatisfaction happens when there's a gap between what they expected to get and what they felt they actually got. This whole framework is designed to help you pinpoint exactly where those gaps are. Is it a gap between what customers want and what you think they want? Or maybe it's the gap between the quality you promise and the quality you actually deliver. Once you can name these gaps, you can finally start to close them.
All right, so the GAPS model is great for finding what is wrong. But now we need a tool to figure out where in your process things are going sideways. And for that, we're going to use something called a SIPOC diagram.
The best way to think about a SIPOC diagram is like a high-level map of your process, like a satellite view. What it does is it gets your whole team on the same page about the big picture before anyone gets bogged down in all the tiny little details. It's an awesome tool for making sure everyone agrees on what you're actually talking about and that you're all looking at the same map.
And the name, SIPOC, is actually an acronym for the 5 things you map out. It's pretty logical. You start with your suppliers, the people who give you things. They provide the inputs, the resources you need. You use those inputs in your process. That process creates outputs, the final product or service. And who gets those outputs? Your customers. See? SIPOC. It sounds complicated, but when you fill it out, you get this incredibly clear one-page snapshot of any process you have.
Okay, so you've used these tools, you're listening, you've mapped out your processes, that's fantastic. But, and this is a big but, listening is only half the battle. The real magic happens when you turn all that listening into actual, meaningful action. So how do we do that?
Here's the 3-step recipe for turning that voice into action. Step 1, you listen. Actively gather all that feedback. Step 2, and this is the really critical part, you translate. You have to take a vague customer comment like, your shipping is too slow, and translate it into something specific and measurable. We call this a critical customer requirement, or a CCR. So slow shipping becomes 95% of all orders must be delivered within 48 hours. See the difference? Then step 3, you build the metrics to actually track how you're doing against that goal. That's how you make the customer's voice something you can actually measure and manage.
And the good news is, you don't have to start this from zero. This information, it's already flowing into your company every single day. Just think about it. Your customer service reps, your salespeople, they're on the front lines talking to customers constantly. You've got transaction data, you're seeing how people behave on your website, you're getting complaints. The data is already there. You just need to build a system to capture it, and more importantly, to translate it.
So, let's wrap this up. I want to leave you with one question to really think about. The next time you're in a meeting, planning your next big thing, a new product, a new feature, a change to your service, I want you to ask yourself, whose voice is really guiding this decision? Is it yours, or is it your customers'? Thanks so much for joining me.